3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So, what this game is all about is it's a spiritual successor to Kirby Canvas Curse, which was released in 2005 on the DS. This was released in 2015 on the Wii U. So basically what we're going to be doing throughout this game is we are going to be playing as Kirby, who is going to be not with their limbs, just completely a ball. And we're going to have to use the touchscreen of the Wii U gamepad to roll Kirby, to make ropes that Kirby can roll on to get to the end of each level. And I do mean when I get to the end of each level. If you see the category name is no level skips. There is a feature in the game, this was a Nintendo game where this started to happen, which you might see this in quite a few games nowadays, where if you die enough times, you can skip a level. The game will prompt you if you just want to skip the level because it's challenging you too much and it's just not enjoyable. So no level skips bans that. We are still going to be doing some tricks. Some of them will take us straight to the end of a level from the beginning of it. However, the category is better defined. It's just we have to hit the goal of every stage. So there's 21 stages and 7 bosses. And there are a lot of auto-scrollers, which makes this a good morning game, I guess. But unfortunately, it really ruins this game's chance of just being a great speed game. Yeah. So, this is just a good game, I guess, to wake up to. It's a game that doesn't require too much practice, except for, like, one skip that's pretty hard. But, hopefully I'll not worry too much about that skip. This cutscene's almost over. It's gonna be around the 2-minute 30-second mark in which it's over. Yeah, there we go. And now we're gonna be heading into the first world. So what was happening in that cutscene, I guess I should explain, is that someone stole all the color from Dreamland. And now we have to get it back with the help of this person who was running away from that person. Stuff's happening. And, now we're in the gameplay. This is what it looks like. And I'm moving really quickly, you might notice. If you are tapping Kirby, if you tap Kirby, he'll do a dash. Canvas Curse has the same mechanic, except in Canvas Curse, it's actually fastest to draw, like, a loop and have Kirby go through the loop, and they'll get a big boost. That's the way you see a lot of people move in Canvas Curse. However, in this game, you can do loop and get a boost from it. However, it's slower to do that than it is to just repeatedly tap Kirby, which makes this game kind of challenging at times when you're like me and you have really big hands. And so sometimes you can't see part of the screen because your hands are in the way trying to tap Kirby constantly. But, whatever. And here we're going to get introduced to another main mechanic. This game, unlike Canvas Curse, actually, doesn't have abilities. One of the few Kirby games to be this way, but what we do have is star abilities. So, if I get 100 stars, unlike most games where I'll just get a 1-up, I get a star dash, which is what you just saw there. I can turn giant and do a dash with a lot of power. And I need to do 2 in this room. They do move really quickly, and so whenever we have 100 stars, we do want a star dash usually. There's a bit of routing into how many stars you get and when you get them, so that you can use star dashes at some specific locations. Alright, and that's the end of the first level. Now I get the ability to use Amiibo at the end of this level. I don't have the Amiibo for this game, so I cannot use them. However, one of them wouldn't even be useful. King DDD, what it does for a level is it ups your health to 5 max. Meta Knight gives you a faster dash for a level. And then Kirby instantly gives you a star dash. Each of the amiibo can only be used once per day. So in the amiibo speedrun, you actually change your system settings so that it changes to a new day like halfway through the run, and you can use each amiibo twice. Again, I don't have the amiibo, so I can't get that time save, unfortunately. And yeah. Okay, there I almost got off-screened. Getting off-screened is a really bad thing that can happen. An off-screen is, as the name implies, when you go off-screen. Basically, it's bad to off-screen because if you off-screen, well, the fastest form of movement in this game is, like, constantly tapping Kirby. And when Kirby's not on screen, you can't do that, so you want to keep yourself on the screen. But, like, levels like this where there's no ceiling and you can go above the screen. I can make an early cycle there by trying to squish into this little circle like that. Didn't get it, though. Some people like to have a star dash here. I'm opposed to that. We get an invincibility candy right here. With the invincibility candy, you're going to see him actually like going up in the air instead of staying on the ground. And the reason for that is, usually there's like a little pause when you dash into an enemy to kill it. And when you have an invincibility candy, the game, to counteract that, does, what it will do is it'll just like, Kirby will just, like, stop moving for a tiny bit of time while the Star Dash is going on. So, or not the Star Dash, but when you hit an enemy and you have the invincibility candy, Kirby will just stop for a tiny bit. So, by going in the air when I have that invincibility candy, I just don't have to worry about the little pauses every time I hit an enemy. So, it's just good. And now we're in the last level of World 1 before the boss. This one's probably my favorite. We're in a cave. It's cave. I don't really know where I was going with that. Main mechanic here is water. Water controls, if you've ever played Canvas Curse or not this game, they function about the same, except you don't have the stone ability in this game, so it's like worse. Because you had abilities in Canvas Curse, but not in this game. Okay, no, that is not the type of star I was thinking of. I'm tired. I think I've said this already, but I am indeed tired. Those stars, though, if you hit them, you can collect other stars. I just kind of want star dashes in this level. They're good. There's a star. This star is what I was thinking of. Also, there's a star dash off screen. Great. Can I go down, please? Alright, cool. And you go this way. I'm trying to get rid of some lines here by intercepting them. If you intercept the line, it'll remove the previous line. So, like, if I try and draw a plus sign, and so, like, I draw a line here, so, like, yeah, if I draw a vertical line to try and make a plus sign, and then I immediately draw a horizontal line over the vertical line. It'll erase the vertical line. Alright. And now we're on to our first boss. Here we have, I mean, take a wild guess at who the first boss in this Kirby game is going to be. So here I'm going to want to collect, there's going to be a star here. In the pre-level, I really want that star. Yeah, so, just who you'd expect it to be. This is Wispy Woods, as the first boss of the game. What you can do here is you can go up against him and keep dashing into his face like that. This is one of the main ways you're gonna... Usually, what you'd see people do is actually try and, like, draw a line to stay closer to his face for longer, but I'm actually gonna let myself be pushed back here, so that on my way back I can collect some stars. I'm hoping for a good pattern here. There we go. After the first cycle, he can choose to use a star pattern that has either 3 or 4 stars, and I need him to do at least 1 4-star pattern in the first 2. So that I can get enough to get a star dash between all the other stars I've gotten. And when you star dash into him, you can just repeatedly tap him on the touchscreen, and it just absolutely destroys him. So that was a really good Wispy fight. That was a really good World 1 in general. Only major mistake was all the dumb star dashes and cave escape. But now we're heading up to one of the biggest things in the run. We're going to do dig and dash, and we're going to do dig and dash skip. So when I said that no level skips meant no death abusing to skip levels, and that we still had to hit the goals, this game kind of teases you in this level by putting a goal directly above an entrance to a cave. The cave usually takes like 5 minutes to get through, even in a run. And then you can get to the exit that's on the other side of, like, this wall right here. However, if I draw a line well enough, like that, except did not get enough speed, I can go over. There we go. And then I can roll down here just into the end of the level. So, that wall right there is it only goes so high. So if I can get enough speed off the roll, I can actually just get over that wall. Or get on top of it. And then roll to the end of the stage, which the game usually teases you with before you go into the cave that I mentioned. So that is like a lot of time save. Especially with how quickly I did it there. That was really good, because I was literally practicing that before I went live, and I did not get it a single time. And here we have our first auto-scroller of the run, unfortunately. We have also our first vehicle level. So there are 3, like, vehicle levels in this game that are supposed to be a callback to the kind of, theming of Kirby's Dream Land 2, where your 3 helpers were like, there was an earth helper, an air helper, and a water helper. There's going to be vehicles to represent that, and for the ground, we have the tank. So I'm actually going to try a new strat that I used to not do. I'm going to try not killing anything in this whole stage, and the goal is to never get 100 stars. Since this is my first time being in the tank, the game would actually give me a new cutscene if I were to hit 100 stars. And the thing at the end of the stage is not worth using a star missile on, Usually as the tank, what you do when you have 100 stars is you hold down, like this, and you'd eventually just charge up a bigger blast. Every time you kill something, though, you get stars out of it, so I'm going to try keeping enemies alive in this process. Which makes the dodging in this stage actually pretty cool. Also, there's a treasure chest right there. If I collect the treasure chest, after the level, I'll have to, like, wait around and open the treasure chest and see what's inside, and that just wastes a lot of time to go through. So, you never want to collect the treasure chest, even though it doesn't seem to hinder you at first. There is actually a gateway category between, any percent and 100% in this game. That is all treasure chests. I've never done a run of any category other than this category in this game, and I kind of want to keep it that way. Yeah, so once you're in this part of the fight, the game won't give you the notification for what 100 stars is. So once you're here, you can save that little bit of time. I think it's not actually worth it to use stars in that encounter. But we can use a star here, just to move into the goal a little bit faster. So that's the end of our first auto-scroller, out of many. Alright, and then this is actually a pretty cool stage. Gonna be doing some interesting stuff throughout the whole thing that I'm gonna try to get explained. There are these lasers here. I just have to draw over them like that. Here's something pretty cool coming up. So the camera does some really weird scrolling thing on this part. And if you're not like me and you don't bonk above the little blocks there, if you move fast enough before the camera scrolls, you can actually move through those little blocks in that circle part because the game hasn't loaded them yet because they're not on screen. It's pretty funny. Didn't get it to happen, unfortunately, but whatever. It doesn't actually save time. It kind of saves time because it implies that your movement through the section was good, but it doesn't save time in the traditional sense. There, I actually, used an enemy kind of as a buffer. So two animations can't happen at the same time. So what I did was I stalled a little bit before breaking the block so that I could immediately hurt the enemy. And when hurting the enemy, the game is like, you're busy doing something else, so you can't get crushed by the wall. And when you get crushed by the wall, you have to wait for yourself to very slowly unflatten. So when I stalled to kill that enemy, when I did, I just didn't get flattened, and that's nice. And coming up, we have a little mini-boss type thing. We have this, which we need to dash into some. We'll push it back every time we dash into it, which is fun. Especially when we accidentally push it all the way back here and now have to do some really tricky stuff to actually get behind it without dying. But we're good. We should get a health right here. I'm going to take this just for safety. Here we just want to go. I'm going to take this star. So that once we're right about here, I can use it. There we go. Alright. And now we're on to the second boss. So this is Hoop Lagoon coming up. This is, hey, a new boss design. This boss sucks. I should preface that now. I hate this boss. Not the worst in the game, but it sucks. So here we have this thing. It's going to come out of the center of the wall. There it is. So what we have to do here is we have to break the shields. The first shield here is going to have 1 HP. It scales up by 1 HP each cycle of the fight. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to hit that shield once over there and then try and break this shield. And so this shield will actually only have 2 HP, and I can break it before that electric shield goes up. Once that electric shield goes up, you cannot hit the boss, which you kind of want to hit the boss. And so now we have a Star Dash after this phase. We need to Star Dash the metal shield in order to end the fight. So that was like a perfect fight, basically. And now we're in the water world. We have Indigo Ocean. I think that's what it's called. I already forgot. Please go down. So here we have swimming controls. I mentioned the water back in 1.3, back when we were dealing with the waterfalls, which forced you downwards. Now we have the actual swimming controls, which are the worst thing about this game. So you're always forcefully moving upwards because of the water. When there's a current, it'll push you in the direction of the current. But, if you want to move down, you have to actually, like, draw a line that is, like, moving upwards, so Kirby will actually go on the line and then curve it downwards. Which is, fun. No, it's not. I'm gonna get this here just for the sake of having a Star Dash. Those big, gigantic stars, as I've mentioned again, are basically just free Star Dashes, so if I can get one like that without much of a hassle, I'm going to take it. Alright. And now we're going to have this little ending room where I'm going to Star Dash a lot. Just because I move faster through the water that way. I should mention this now, just so I don't forget to mention it until it happens, because it's very unfortunate to see happen. If I at any point take damage during a Star Dash, it'll instantly end the Star Dash. So I do want to be careful while Star Dashing. Come on. Come on, game. Let me go this way. Alright, so this stage is actually one of the most interesting in the run. These little ghost thingies right here, they are instant kill. So if I touch them, I die, regardless of my health. That being said, I don't want to touch them, but they do chase me. They track me down. When I'm in the water, though, they can't track me down. Which, is cool. Once we hit this first switch here, once we get this key and unlock this door right here, this guy's gonna wake up. And so what I have to do is wait for him to get out of the wall, and then once he's out of the wall, I can grab the invincibility candy, kill him, and he'll drop the key that I need to leave. Invincibility candy keeps the enemies in place due to the light, and also lets you murder them, which is fun. Oh, what? That is a new one. That is the worst time for the cannon to stop. Okay. Whatever. So that was Haunted Ship. Now we have a really long auto-scroller. Which is awesome. I love that. So here we're going to have our second of the transformations. We've seen the ground one in the tank. Now we're going to see the submarine one in the, I almost said the submarine one in the water transformation. The water one in the submarine transformation. Submarine doesn't work like you'd think it would. What you actually do is you have to tap and it places a flag, which Kirby then routes to move to. Meanwhile, time-based, like, interval, I don't know the best way to describe this. After an interval of time, we'll shoot 3 torpedoes, always facing to the right. And you have to steer the torpedoes by using lines. It's a horrible system, but it's what the game makes you do. And now we're into an auto-scroller, so nothing to really talk about for a little while. I do want to get stars for something near the end of this level, but except for that, I don't have anything I need to mention, really. There's our star. Making it through the stage. I have nothing to say about this stage, still. Need to hit that switch because we need to move down to continue the level. Alright. Hugging the screen barriers gets me into doors ASAP, I feel like. It's self-explanatory, but I should mention that anyways. Don't go in the challenge door. I have a clip somewhere, I think, where I joked around and moved towards that challenge door and then tried to cancel out of going in it at the last second, but I didn't do it fast enough and actually entered the challenge door. The challenge doors are special challenges where you have 15 seconds to get a treasure chest. You don't want to go in those in any percent, they're very slow. Alright, now the auto-scrolling parts are done. So we're going to have a little mini-boss here with this thing, which we're going to use our star torpedoes on. Perfect. And then as soon as this door appears, we're going to go in it. And once my eyes start working again, we're going to use our star dash to get to the end of the stage. I got a book here. So the book, the secret diary, is a hidden collectible in this game that you need to get at the end of every stage to get 100%. I got it right there. And you saw it gave me a little text box, so obviously you don't want to get it because you don't want that text box. However, once you get that text box for the first time, you're never going to see it again. So at this point now, it does not matter how many secret diaries I collect. I will not lose time for collecting one because I already lost like under a second in this stage by collecting one. And now we have our third boss coming up, which is a pretty cool one. Pretty tricky one too because it's underwater, but it's still a fun boss. We have the Klaken, which is a pun that is really funny, but is really stupid to say out loud. So there's two phases to the Klaken fight here. The first one is the tentacle phase, where they'll send its tentacles out from the ground to attack you with. One thing you're going to want to see if I can get is a tentacle 3 cycle, where this next cycle upcoming, two tentacles are going to come out of the ground, and they're going to take 5 hits to destroy. And what we're going to hope happens, which I think is already guaranteed I'm not getting, is I want to hit these tentacles like 5 times in one cycle. to get a 3 cycle on this part of the fight instead of a 4 cycle, which you're going to see me get right now. It's really tricky underwater, so oh well that I didn't get it. But once you destroy the double tentacle set, they come out themselves and start to attack you. So now they're going to do dashes across the screen like this, and every 2 dashes you're going to have an opportunity to hit them. I'm going to star dash into them each time I want to hit them because star dashes are cool. There's a chance we won't even have a star dash for the second one, but it won't matter. It'll just be a little bit slower, and you usually don't, so whatever. Snagged a star dash. A star dash right at the end there to end the fight instead of dashing. Probably still saved a little bit of time over doing normal dashes into that weak point. And that's the end of World 3. World 4 and World 5, the mid game really, are probably the worst part of the run. In World 3, we're going to have 2 auto-scrollers followed by a vehicle stage. And then in World 5, we're going to have 2 vehicle stages with 1 really hard stage in between, followed by the worst boss in the run. So the next 2 worlds upcoming are going to be like the worst in the run. But yeah. So I just have another auto-scroller. There is going to be a little thing in this auto-scroller I'm going to want to do to speed it up way later in the level. But other than that, the only thing I really can do is just hug the wall to enter screen transitions as soon as possible. Also, I don't want to mention a curse I have with this game, but every marathon run I've done on this game, I've tended to die in an auto-scroller. And so I'm hoping that doesn't happen here, because dying in an auto-scroller is really not fun. And I think it was this level in the last marathon I did, and then in the marathon before that, it was 7-2. Which is a horrible level to die in, but I'm dead. I ran out of line because I missed the container. I can't believe it. How do I forget how to play this game during marathons every time? Ugh. This was probably a PB pace run too before that. Oh well. How did Kirby even, like, miss that container? Like, looking at the rope that I died with? How did that happen? Please don't do that, Kirby. Once we're in this win stream, we're at the end of the screen. We just have to wait a little while for it to push us upward into the next one, like that. There we go. And this screen sucks. Here we do get a lot of invincibility candies and a lot of ink containers. Also get a lot of dog barking. Okay, so that's actually not the strat that I intended to do that, but that is actually faster than what I usually do. I wanted to use that cannon that I accidentally dropped on the left in order to, I drew like 3 lines, game. Oh, I can die in this challenge room. I drew like 3 lines to try and prevent that from happening, but it still happened, because who cares? Game's awful. What the heck? Alright, now we're moving on to another auto-scroller. There's gonna be a few things I can do throughout this stage to make sure it doesn't go too slow, but not much. Hitting that block as soon as possible makes it so the auto scroll doesn't stop there to let me hit the block, because hey, I've already hit it. And then here, I just want to get in that cannon ASAP. Just a small thing I can speed up. Hello to everyone waking up. I guess I'll reintroduce the game again because we've seen a few people wake up in the past couple minutes. So this is a kind of... I'm in the middle of an auto-scroller right now. This is a Wii U game that's the spiritual successor to the DS Kirby Canvas Curse, in which I am using the touchscreen on the Wii U gamepad in order to almost die, apparently. In which I'm using the touchscreen on the Wii U gamepad in order to draw lines and make Kirby dash to get through the levels. There I use a star dash. What you're supposed to do is lure the cannon of the battleship to break open that cannon, but you can just use a star dash. It's faster. And here we have our third vehicle. We are going to have the... Once it loads, this one takes its own to load. We have the rocket ship. Now the rocket ship moves at a set speed, but you can still save time in these levels by cutting corners, making your lines not bad, not taking damage. Going through these rings helps you get speed boosts, so you want to get in those a lot. Here I need to use a star dash there. If I didn't have a star dash, I would have to wait for a free star dash to come down from the top of the screen slowly. But fortunately I had a star dash already, so it's fine. And, coming up, we're going to hit this. Even though it tells us not to hit this, it's a self-destruct switch. So we're going to destroy the battleship that we're in right now. What we have to do here is draw an escape path throughout the whole area so that we know where to go. However, since I remember where to go, what I can do is I can just draw the shortest line possible so the game will let me escape. Because the game does not actually allow you to start the escape sequence until you tell it until you draw a little path line. So I just draw the shortest one possible. Here I want to use the Star Dash to get through these metal blocks to get to that switch like that. And now once I'm like right here, I can use my other Star Dash that I just got in order to break through all these metal blocks and get out as quick as possible. That was really interesting. I thought I was going to die there, but I did not die. And yeah, that's the end of the stage. So now we have, after all this time, we're going to have our next boss fight. And then move on to World 5, which is 2 more auto-scrollers, as well as a really hard stage, and a really dumb boss. World 5 is awful. It's worse than World 4. I should clarify that now. But before we get there, we have to do this, which is going to be our refight. So there are 7 worlds in this game. The first 3 have the 3 bosses. The next 3 have kind of harder versions of those bosses. And then the 7th one is the final boss. So here with this Wispy, he has a shield, which only allows us to do Star Dashes on him. If you remember the first fight, Star Dash lets us get a whole ton of damage. It looks like I'm on damage pace for a 2 cycle, actually. Yep, alright, cool. That's a 2 cycle. And now it's time for the worst part of the run. Our first stage is going to be our second and final tank stage in the run. Great. I'm gonna get close to the edge of the screen because we're approaching the door. Alright, now time for another part of the level. We have these bomb things. When I hit them, they explode. That's what a bomb does, I guess. Pretty cool for opening up large amounts of enemies, but the hitbox on the explosions are like way bigger than you'd think they would be. I'm gonna just take that food before going onto the screen. This is the last auto-scrolling screen of the 3. By knocking that log back with 2 of the star shots, it won't hurt us at all. It won't break this bridge while we're on it. We'll be perfectly fine. And then we can just do this. Alright, now we're on to the hardest stage ever. This is actually legitimately like one of the hardest stages in the whole run, so let's go. So the main gimmick of this stage is that we have these little cart thingies. They can only stay on the ropes. We want to actually not be in them as much as possible because they do move pretty slow. So we're going to just use ropes to move them as fast as possible. And that includes, we're going to take this secret path up here. We're going to get in this cart and then move up here to the secret area, just because it gets us off of the rope sooner than the normal path does. Here, I don't hit that ceiling if I shoot the cannon as far left as possible. That's a very specific thing to hit though, so it's still worth going for because you want to go to the left anyways. And here's why the stage is so hard. What I'm going to try and do here, which I messed up, is I want to hit the wall there and then hit the tiny little portion. I want to hit the wall and then the little tiny portion of ground. Which I'm not doing correctly. So let's go. If I die again, you'll see the prompt that you use to skip everything in any percent. I want that star. And here this again. There we go. Got it first try that time. Okay, cool. I missed. Alright, so yeah, now you're gonna see it. No. So yeah. In any percent, you just die 4 times to get that prompt and use it to beat levels instead of doing what I'm doing in this run. But, obviously that's banned in this run, so I just have to So now we have 5-3, our last submarine stage of the run. And again, it's an auto-scroller. Look at me almost dying because I'm not paying attention at all. That's fun, isn't it? So in this mini-boss thing, I'm going to use a Star Torpedo here, just because there's a lot of fish in this part. And then even after that, there's still going to be more stuff happening. You know, instead of doing this part the normal way, I'm just going to take a damage boost so I'm already on the right side. And then, once that's over, the stage is over. And now we have the 5th boss, which is our refight against Hoop Lagoon. And as I've already explained, my least favorite things in this game are the Hoop Lagoon boss fight and the underwater controls. So, this boss combines both of those. Someone on this game's design team thought this was a good idea. I'm gonna try and do the same setup for an electric shield skip by breaking specific shields like I did in the first fight. So, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I said there it is, and then I almost was not there. Good to have it there now, though. So yeah, it also adds a current to this fight because just normal swimming controls are not bad enough, apparently. There we go. Still a pretty good fight. So, after all this, these 2 worlds of just pain, we finally have a pretty fun world to go through. Starting with, this is my favorite world to do in a run. Starting with 6-1 Burning Secrets. Just a very fun movement stage after all the stuff in the previous stages that was not as fun. Alright. Also, the music here is really good. Here in this part where the blocks are falling, I gotta wait a little bit and then I can dash through here. We're gonna have another section now with these carts from 5-2. And unlike 5-2 where I wanted to break out of the carts immediately, it's actually slower to do that in this stage. You can do it. However, the problem is the place where the cart spawns, if you break your cart, is just so far back that it's not worth doing. Because the time it takes to break your cart, get a new cart, and then get to the end of the stage from where the new cart spawns, that's just slower than just, you know, taking the first cart all the way to the end. And we're going to save a few seconds here by breaking that cart right there. One thing I can do as a little safety strat is I can bonk on that stone to get myself more ink. And that's level. Now we have our next battleship stage, which means our next rocket ship stage. This one is a lot harder. Obviously, it's later in the game, so that usually means it's harder. And again, we're going to try to fairly quickly get a star dash. Alright, cool. Now coming up we have more switches and then another escape. This is the most painful thing. So here's the self-destruct switch again. We're gonna hit it. And that's going to cause another escape sequence. This one's a lot bigger. So we have to make sure we know where we're going. We don't have enough stars for another star dash. There are some stars we can get here though to get a star dash, and also there's a star dash right here we can take. So that's 2 right there. One of them we're going to use to get in here and then not be able to get out. We're going to use this cannon, which is actually going to hit this switch for us. We're going to start star dashing as we take this so that we can go through here and then just go this way. Exits this way, and then at the exit here, once we get here, we're just going to star dash again. Right through there. And okay, now we're on the escape. So this is the last battleship stage. So we have to do one last escape part where it's actually crumbling. There we go. Pretty good. Now we have a fun stage. So here's the explosion again, very nice. And now, my favorite stage in the whole run, probably. So, right here, this part of the stage is something very important that's about to happen. There's going to be a part of the stage coming up where there's going to be a door, and the game's going to tease us with the door, and once we hit a certain switch, the door's going to move up. So, right here, once I hit this switch, the door is going to start moving up. However, if I do my movement good enough, which I almost did, but not quite there, I can actually make it into that door, before it moves up too far. And if I hit it, the game is like, hey, you hit the door, and the door is on screen, so the door is loaded, so it just sends you to the next part of the stage. It doesn't waste that much time if you don't get it, however, it's usually pretty cool to get. It is pretty challenging to get, though, because your movement has to be, like, really good. As you saw, I just did, like, a tiny bonk on the metal, and it missed it. So, you have to have, like, really good movement to get that, which means I usually don't get it. Cool. Okay, yeah, so that's something I explained earlier. When you take damage during a star dash... Oh my god, move! What is happening? Alright, Kirby just did not want to move there. Jeez Louise. If you're in the middle of a star dash and you take damage, it instantly cancels the star dash. I explained that a while ago, but there you go, seeing it in action, because I guess Kirby just hates game mechanics. Alright, there you go. Alright, so now we have our next boss, which is going to be our refight against the Klaken. The difference in this fight, though, the atmosphere has done a complete 180. So instead of being underwater, we are now in a volcano. Two very different places, I'd say. And I'd probably say that the fight is actually easier in a volcano. Before we are able to hit the tentacle here, we do have to wait through a little bit of attacking, where it breaks holes in the floors. And then this tentacle takes 3. Similar to the last fight, we can go for a tentacle 3 cycle, where we destroy all the tentacles in 3 cycles instead of the 4 that you usually see. Here we already have a Star Dash, which is cool. And I didn't get the 3 cycle because Kirby hates conventional movement. We're about to get a second Star Dash, which is cool. In this second phase, where we're getting the tackles from this guy, we want to be careful, because if he goes back down into the lava, he'll actually restart his cycle, his little set of 3 tackles. So, please charge the Star Dash. Thank you. Jeez Louise. This game, I feel like my gamepad is just acting up on me. So yeah, we don't want him to charge back into the lava, because otherwise he'll start his charges over. What is happening?! That's what a 3 cycle looks like, by the way. We finally got one. We just have to wait through one more cycle where hopefully Kirby will not jump into the lava for no reason. There we go. Okay. So, World 7, final world of the run. Cool. First level we have here has something interesting. You're not gonna see this one coming. So, the thing about this level is that it's like a factory, so there's a lot of machine-based stuff. Some of them being these kind of scanners where you're in the scanner, or something's in the scanner. It'll open a door or do something along the lines of that. So we need to get these 3 keys here to move on. And now, we're gonna do a fun thing. So this game has the co-op mechanic in it, where if you have a friendo, they can actually help Kirby. And using that, in this stage, you can move the second player into the scanners. And, there we go. You can move the second player into the scanners, which, helps. Okay, let me try and explain this better. Usually, if you don't have the second player with you, to activate the scanners, what you'd have to do is you'd have to wait for these purple guy to move over to a scanner, and then have them open it for you. But with the second player, you can open the scanner yourself. And also, we can speed things up a little bit by having Kirby at the edge of the screen while the Waddle Dee is in the scanner. What is this? Get back here. Come on. Thank you, Jesus. Gonna be hot honest, I've never used the 2-player in my life. So I don't know what just happened. I have no idea what the hell just happened there. I literally tried that out for the first time during this run, because I was bored, and I don't even know what just happened. Okay. Cool. What is this? Okay, so now I'm gonna end the 2-player thing by taking the battery out of the second player's Wii remote. Won't connect. Yes. There we go. Welcome to the things I do when I'm bored. So this is the last auto-scroller of the run. This is Kirby plus Kirby, which, fun fact, Kirby plus Kirby equals 2 Kirby. It's an auto-scroller kind of puzzle-ish level where we have to do things on one screen to open up a path on another half of the screen. Pretty interesting. So now we have another thingy where now the screen is split vertically, because why not, I guess. Stage is still boring. It's gonna be one fun part, which is coming fairly soon, and that is right here. When I open this, now the two Kirbys can dash into each other, which makes this happen. So that's fun to do. The Kirbys do share a health bar, and if one dies due to an insta-death method, like being crushed, it will kill both of them and make you restart the screen. But you usually don't die. I say usually because it has happened in dumb ways, because this game hates me. Okay, there we go. Alright, cool. Now we have a little thing here where the game's gonna want us to bash the Kirbys into each other, but I'm not gonna do that. Because we have the power of star dashing. And that's it for auto-scrollers in the run. Woohoo! We don't have to deal with those anymore. Bam. So coming up into the last level now before the final boss is a pretty unique one. So the main mechanic comes in these guys with the faces and the little plant thingies that you usually see around them. If you get eaten by one of these things, you'll go to the little plant thingy of the respective color. You'll get spit out of that. And usually you don't want that to happen. Sometimes. Not usually, sometimes. Because that usually sends you backwards. However, coming up soon... So, like, yeah, for example, you see here the little plant at the beginning. If I get eaten by any of these guys, it would spit me out at that little plant. However, what's going to be interesting is this red guy. So if I get eaten by this red guy, I get spit out of the red plant, which I actually need to use as some sort of cannon in order to proceed in the level. And then right here as well with the blue guy. So it actually goes from just another obstacle you need to avoid to an intended puzzle mechanic, which is really cool. So here you're supposed to play like a memory game to get what you want. If you go into the closest one, you get a full heal, which is the best option out of the three, because the treasure chest obviously slows you down. And then here, I need to use this green guy. I need to wait a little bit for this guy with the shield to turn around so I can cannon to back and not their spike shield, because that would just end the cannon, and then I need to use the cannon guy again. Here, I can draw a little line to skip that. Okay, cool. Game, thanks. For not drawing the line where I very evidently was drawing a line. I appreciate it. Thank you. I want to stay on this side because I want to avoid that Gordo, and then I want to switch to avoid this treasure chest. Alright, right here, I want to get some stars while I can. I can't get off this cart. I can't do like a cart break off like I can in some other places, so I'm not going to try it. This guy electrocutes the rope that he's on, so we usually want to get off his rope, otherwise he's just going to repeatedly damage us for no good reason. Please get in there. Here is a little mini-boss fight. What I'm going to do for this is I'm going to Star Dash immediately. When you Star Dash, these guys do not eat you. And so I want to Star Dash so I can just quickly grab this key and get out. And then I need to actually move into this guy instead of moving all the way to the right, Kirby. And now I'm on the final part of the stage where it's going to be this section here. I'm just going to Star Dash through it so I don't have to worry about the guys eating me, like, again. Because it did send me back to the beginning of the screen. That's the stage. And now we're going to move on to the final boss. So we're almost done here. What I'm gonna want to do for the final boss here is, I'm going to want to, well, get to the boss, first off. I shouldn't move so far ahead. Here in this elevator, I can spell stuff like memes. It's a great elevator. I almost drew P4PFall. That is not what I wanted to draw. So we get introduced to these little bombs here, which are pretty good. Not really bombs, but we can, if we dash into them, they'll kind of just fly in the direction we dashed into them from. So we can hit them into big things. Like the statue there, for example. And here, we're going to skip this cutscene and get into the first phase of the final boss. We have Glacia here. Basically, we find out in the cutscene that Glacia, the person that originally stole the color from Dreamland, which is the story of the game to get it back, is possessed. So we're going to fight Glacia until whoever is possessing Glacia stops possessing Glacia. That's an order of words that I just came up with. This is a funny thing you can do. In this part of the fight, I messed it up, but you're supposed to stay in this bottom part, and then you use your ropes to do things like block the lasers. However, if you're me, you can try and stay above the part of the level where it doesn't let you use your rope. Because why not? So yeah, to hit this boss, you have to wait for the little, kind of steel balls here. And then you have to hit them into her. Like that. You also have to move downwards, Kirby. This is a fairly slow fight for a little bit, so yeah, we get stars in this portion of the fight finally, as well as there's a health item that appears at some point. There it is. But yeah, if you have anything you want to say, now's a good time. Now this is the part of the fight where everything changes, so first off, you can get a lot of damage here by just repeatedly hitting her while she's in the foreground for this attack. And then here, whenever her fists hit something, whether it be the ground or other fists, we're going to get a lot of stars from it. And we want to get 100 stars, obviously, because hey, that's the star dash amount. I did not get enough stars for a star dash, which should not happen. I've never had this happen before until the last time I ran this game at a marathon, which was like back in August. Like, up until then, I had never had this happen before, and then suddenly it happens like twice within 2 marathon runs within 1 month. Okay. Really interesting game. This is why I don't run this game anymore. Because it just does this for no reason. Usually, though, when you get a star dash in this fight, you kind of use it the same way you did in like the Wispy Woods fight, where you just repeatedly tap into Glacia to do a ton of damage. Okay, now the game just gives us a free star dash star because why not? So that's what it's supposed to look like a previous cycle. I literally don't know why that happens, where I can't get enough stars sometimes, but whatever. So now we're moving on to the final boss. Once this happens, we can skip the cutscene, and for the final boss here, this is the Dark Crafter. This is the thing that was possessing Glacia when she took all of the color out of Dreamland. So this thing has all the color in Dreamland. That's the way it works. So this fight uses the rocket ship, and this boss will shoot these bombs at us, and while we're flying through the sky, we will also be getting lots of stars, and to kill this boss, we have to star dash into it 3 times. So, again, if I take damage during a star dash, it'll kill the star dash, so I don't want to do that, so I'm going to wait around until I know I have good opportunity to do a dash there. Okay, game. Thank you. Alright. So time's coming up really soon. It's coming up once I hit the Dark Crafter for the 3rd time. As long as I don't die on this fight, which could happen because, cool game. There's health. That's good. Alright, now we have enough stars to do the dash. Never mind. Okay, there we go. And... okay, cool. Thanks, game. That's great. So yeah, now we have to do this fight again, because, the game doesn't want to draw lines. Bosses don't have checkpoints in this game. Alright, already back to 2 hits. Which is pretty good, especially because I'm at full health entering the last hit this time. And time. Alright, cool. That was a really bad run. Still underestimate by about a minute. Which I guess is neat. But, yeah. That sucked. So, since that took long, I'm just gonna head out probably and let y'all move on with your, gonna let you move on with your morning runs. So, see you later.